Hi guys, I have no idea if anybody can even see me right now. There was a problem linking up to Facebook, and there was a little bit of a delay, so I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. If anybody can hear me, please say yes, we can hear you. I'm watching on the Specimen Politics WhatsApp. Let's just see if I merge that in, if you can see it. I'm watching this here on Specimen Politics. I'm also watching live on Facebook. So yeah, guys, you know, whenever you do something live like this, there's always room for error and things can go horribly sideways, as the guys who have been following my Fish Tech live shows, which are held every second Tuesday between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the evening, will know there's been some real weird and wonderful events happening. But Neil Pretorius says everything's good. Peter Niemann says yes, we can, everything seems good. Tom is there, Mani Maritz, Tyrone Liman, Jacques yeah, there we go, everything's working. Fantastic. Okay guys, I want to get straight into it because we've actually got quite a bit to get through. How will this actually work? Let me just explain to you what has happened here. Louis Brits from Specimen Politics approached me. He said Gilbert's got hold of him and said, listen, get John on board and let's talk a little bit about Sonar. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity. You know, let me just get this up here. I wonder if this is going to work. I'm going to bang that into there. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to bring that up there. I'm going to pause that. You see how it runs away? The guys that have been watching my show will know. Okay, I think also let me... Okay, that is sitting up in the corner there. There's not much I can do about that. Anyway, guys, there's the WhatsApp feed over there, as you can see on the screen over there. And then, yeah. And then I've got a couple, and then I've got some slides that I want to show you guys. So there we go. Gilbert Foxcroft just joined us. Fantastic. Okay, guys, please, I do have a set of questions that were given to me by Louis Brits. So thank you very much. They came from various guys from the group. So I'm going to try and get through those. Sorry, I was explaining to you guys sort of a little bit about me. I'm the owner of Fish Tech. Fish Tech got started in 2009. I'm in Westville, KZN, here in South Africa. And guys, you know, from 15 years ago, even long before I started fishing, Fish Tech, I've been showing guys, as I was learning about electronics, so I was teaching guys. So it's been quite a long road. I just want to mention, as we are here now, I just want to send a message to Louis while we live. Louis, we live on Facebook. Oh, there we go. That just died. Let me try that again. Louis, we live on Facebook at the moment. I can't take any audio messages. So please, if we can just keep it to text. Thank you. There we go. Focus. We'll get focused now shortly. There we go. Okay, so guys, the guys that are on WhatsApp, I can't pick up audio because I'm using my phone as a insert over there. So I can't pick up audio. So let's do that on... Cornay says, are you recording? Geez, thanks, Cornay. Yes, I am recording. Cornay knows me too well. Cornay is one of our best pro staff. Yeah, no, everything's fine. So yeah, guys, so I've been doing this for a long time. Those of you who will remember or not remember, let me merge this into here. Back in the days, this was probably about, I'd say about 9 years ago, when it was still called ESA, I started a little segment on, then it was called ESA, and it was called Knowing Your Electronics. And this was our, whoop, there you see it always does that when you start it, and you got to pause it and you got to go back to where you were. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so guys, we're going to do exactly the same thing. I have not done a Sonar course in 4 years, either in a classroom or on a live stream or even a video. I haven't done much from a sonar perspective. I've only been concentrating on charts. So let's get into the questions. There's nothing else there yet. Okay, everything seems to be working fine. Okay, let's merge that into there. I wish I could turn that off. I don't think I can, because I think this is the one that is in there. I'm going to just turn that off for now. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, everything seems to be working fine. Okay, I need to bring that up. I need to bring, sorry guys, these live things. Right, let's get stuck into question number 1. As a person who casts a lot, is it worth getting a Deeper Chirp Deeper Pro Plus? Now guys, I have never used a Deeper sonar. It's that little round boliki thing that you put on a line and you cast it out into the water. It is known as a Castable sonar. Obviously the marketing on those things has been astronomical. You can get them at macro checkers just about everywhere. And the social media marketing has been absolutely phenomenal. I've seen some incredible looking features on it. I would like to put it as a sort of a proper test with it, but they've certainly done a fantastic job of the interface. So let's not take anything away from the Deeper module with regard to that. However, Lowrance, guys, yeah, I must mention at this point, I am a dealer for Lowrance. We do sell Lowrance units, so obviously I am going to be a little bit biased towards that. But having said that, I do use the other big brands. I use Garmin and I use Humminbird. So I do use those 3 big brands. With regard to the Lowrance, what they call the Fish Hunter, which is a castable, I have tried it. I've taken it out on the water. It picked up the bottom quite accurately. It gave us water temperature. Excuse me touching my face in these dodgy times. But for me, as a fish finder, I was not impressed. But it gave us depth and it gave us water temperature. And if you're looking for how deep it is out there and what the temperature is on the surface, I think you're going to get yourself a great little unit there. Right, next question. What are the pros and cons of the Deeper Chirp compared to other fish finders that are normally used, for example, Humminbird, etc.? Now, like I said before, I haven't used the Deeper. The interface is by all means giving a great illusion as to its performance, but I know sonar is a tricky thing. Sonar is a very tricky thing. And once you start using your proper frequencies and your proper 200 kilohertz and your proper transducers, etc., you will start going into this fish finder world. So that's what I'm saying here. I recommend that people do get onto what I call a proper fish finder as soon as possible. As you can see here below me, I took this image years and years ago. This was on Inanda Dam near a place called Madhouse, and I was targeting some carp here in about 11 feet of water. Talking rubbish. I was targeting bass in this area, and these smallish carp, they're probably about that 3-4 kilo, sort of moved in, and it was quite interesting to see how the carp and the bass sort of all lived together in harmony. It was quite interesting. Obviously the water was extremely dirty and I couldn't see a thing in the water, but from my sonar, as you can see behind me, the carp just gives such a beautiful echo, and it's quite easy to actually recognize them. So that really is great. Next question, question 3. So should I save up to get a boat and a normal fish finder, or is it okay to get a Deeper Chirp and then attach it to a boat there, when I get one? Guys, I think I've pretty much answered that. If you're fishing areas where you cannot get a boat in the water, your castables are going to be awesome. That's obvious. You can't get a boat in there. You can't a Castable then is going to work for you. But save your pennies, get your money together, put it away. You got to wait a year or two, it doesn't matter. Just put that money away and get yourself a proper fish finder, not just a depth finder with a lot of little gadget features attached to it. Castable's coming. Yeah, there we go. In this picture behind me, I hope old Leslie Barnard doesn't mind me using this picture. He's a fantastic local angler here. And as you can see, he's a dedicated specimen guy. If you follow him on Facebook, you'll know he really gets, him and his mate, Peter Niemann, they really do well. They get some fantastic fish. And as you can see, he's got a nice setup there. He's got good equipment. He's got a nice little boat. He's using a Lawrence 9-inch TI2. Just a good all-round setup. Right, next, question number 4. I see there's no other questions coming in right now. Let me just have a look if I'm missing anything here. Sorry, guys. Hello, Marius Dovel. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us. I'm just having a look. There we go. Yeah, no, it seems fine. It seems fine. Okay, guys, if you compare them against each other, which is better in the long term? Functionality, price, performance, etc. Now, guys, at this point, my supplier, Lawrence South Africa, will probably have a heart attack when Liz Plotz hears me say this, but the fish finders are pretty much all doing the same now. When it comes to downscan, 2D sonar, side scan, it's very hard to differentiate one from the other. Some are a little bit stronger in certain areas than others, and then this one's got a slightly better feature. You know, I can say Hummingbird has probably got the better down scan. I'll say Garmin's probably got the best sonar, and Fish Reveal. Lawrence has got Fish Reveal, where you take the down scan and you put the fish archers on top of the down scan, that's a really cool feature which we've got behind. And the hook reveal has just been released now. So if you're looking for something really interesting with some great features, you want to have a look at that. And also keep in mind, these hook reveal units take the FishTech HD contour charts for South Africa, which is a huge plus. Those charts are really, really fantastic. And then, of course, like I said here, the Lawrence has also got the 3-year warranty. I tell you, I can't tell you how many sad stories I've heard in that sort of 2.5 year range. Especially the guys that use them a lot, you know. Just having that 3-year warranty really is fantastic. So yeah, I'm not saying only use the one or the other. Like I said, they've all got pluses and minuses. Okay, this next question number 5. Louis Brits. Let me just see. Louis Brits says, John, what is the difference between 200 and the rest? Louis, I'm going to get to that. That is actually one of Johan van der Vester. I think it's Johan van der Vesthuizen. I'm open to correction. I'm going to get to that. I've actually put a nice little diagram together for the guys to actually understand that. But we're definitely going to talk about that. Rian du Plessis says, hello, John. Hey, hello, Rian. How are you doing? Okay, question number 5. It was a little diagram. It looks like a little channel, like a little riverbed or whatever, roadbed or whatever. It says also another question. If you find this on your fish finder, do you fish point 1, which is closest to you, point 2, which is the slip or the fish highway, riverbed, or do you fish point 3, which is the furthest away from you? Now, guys, I know very little about carp. I'm the first to admit it, and I'm not a great bass fisherman either. I'm more interested in gadgets and electronics and those type of things. So when I start giving fishing advice, get nervous because I won't. I won't profess to be a great fisherman, but I love my gadgets, I love my charts, I love my electronics. So yeah, if it was bass, it would be easy. I'd say go to those little ledges there and target those ledges. But as far as carp go, I think the guys that really know what it's all about, they'd love to answer that there. Gilbert Foxcroft has a question for us. He says, superb quality, John. I only recently started learning more about my Elite 9 TI2. There we go. Gilbert's using an Elite 9 TI2. Fantastic. What a wonderful unit. Guys, look, the hook reveal that I showed you just now is a entry-level unit. But when I say entry-level, it's not one of those Mickey Mouse entry levels like the old Hook 2 4X with the bullet and all that. Yeah, oof, that was terrible stuff. But this is a proper fish finder, you know. And then, of course, Gilbert is using the Elite, which obviously the TI2 comes with that 3-in-1 active imaging. Phew, it's the sonar and the side scan on that is phenomenal. So really, really great. And he says, look, it's opened up a whole new world for him. And quite true. And I can't tell you how many specimen guys are specifically going for that exact model that Gilbert is talking about there. So yeah, fantastic. There we go. Peter Niemans just popped up there on Facebook. He said Elite 9 TI2 is unbelievable. There we go. Guys, talk to the guys that know their fishing, that know the carp. Look, it is a transition period like what the bass had. When FishTech opened its doors, the average fisherman, a lot of guys had big boats, big motors. Half of Bass World tackle, everything. But then they had these 5-inch units. It was called the LMS 520. Where's my brochure? I had a brochure here. There's an old 2007 brochure. That's what the guys were all using. You see that unit there? It was very, very popular. Look, somebody knew somebody's mother's husband's uncle, whatever, had a 7-inch unit, and that was a big story when the bass guys started using 7-inch units. But when I started FishTech, I said, we need to up our game here. These little things, we are missing too much. We are missing information. And if you watch now, 10 years later, a lot of work, a lot of effort explaining why, showing people why, and the average size fish finder on a bass boat now is 9 to 12 inches, with some even going as big as a 16-inch. Where's my 16? Got it here. So the big unit, but we'll talk about that a little bit further just now. So yeah, let's see. I think I lost track there a little bit. Question number 6. Are there any other questions? No. Question number 6. If I don't have a fish finder, what structures and features do you look for, and how do you find them? Will you look for different structures in summer and winter? Now, once again, guys, this is out of my wheelhouse. I'm a little bit in the dark here. Here's my answer. Hopefully you're in clean water and you can identify possible snags or weed lines, etc. with the naked eye. As far as targeted structure and cover go, in the 2 primary seasons, once again, I hope to learn from the Omaner here on the group. So yeah, that's something that we can definitely learn about from the guys that know carp very, very well. Tyrone Lemons, he says, how far behind is the Hook 2 triple shot to the Elite TI? Tyrone, from a mapping perspective, it's very far behind, but we're talking sonar here tonight. The Hook 2 triple shot and the Elite TI, the original TI, is very, very similar. Very similar. But the new TI2 with active imaging 3-in-1 transducer, that side scan is equivalent of the Humminbird Mega Plus. It's incredible side scan quality. So yeah, so not much in it from a sonar perspective to answer your question between those 2 units, but the TI2, that's where it takes a big jump. Peter Neiman says the specimen guys are unaware of what the units can do with mapping and saving it to your account where it is accessible to all Lawrence users. Yeah, there's another thing. That is called CMAP Genesis Social Map. You know, you can download it off the net. Not all of them are complete, but you can download off the net, and yeah, it's free of charge. And it's social mapping. So if it's a dam or whatever, there's a section that you like and it's not mapped, go out there, record it, submit it to your account. It's free, and give it 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, and boom, download the chart again, and all that information is there. Neil Pretorius has had the Elite TI5 for just under 3 years. Amazing unit. Got the TI2 9-inch end of April. Can't wait to use it. Yeah, Neil, yeah, you're gonna love it, man. I've also got a little, I still got my little 5 TI here. There it is. I put it on my Amy's every now and again to go and do some work for me. It's a lekker little unit. But yeah, the TI2, guys, different ball game. Andre Lynette van Us says, hi John, are you rate the Elite 4 chirp? Andre, now here's the interesting part. The Elite 4 chirp and the Elite 4 HDI was actually a very, very good fish finder. And why? Because it used the HDI transducer, a proper transducer. So that I loved. When Hook brought out, you know, that range of the Elites became the Hook, and then they brought out this 4X with the thing called the Bullet transducer. Excuse me. That just never did it for me. I do have a video on YouTube where I did a very brief review on it, and if you go and look at that video, you'll see I took a lot of flack. The guys did not like me being too honest about that unit, but still today, look, we all have to start somewhere, but geez, I'd rather save the money, honestly. Andre, yes, Gilbert said, when you are faced with an old riverbed, there we go, Gilbert. Guys, Gilbert has just answered that question. It was this question here. There we go. Question number 5. Gilbert has got that. Have a look at that. The time on that reply will be around 1622. So about 22 minutes past 4. If you're playing this video back later, you will see that's where Gilbert is talking about that. On the YouTube video that I'll be uploading later, this will come up at about 25 minutes into the YouTube video. But the nice thing about the YouTube video is that it'll be in HD. So that'll be quite nice. Hello, Aubrey. How are you doing? There we go. The guys are coming on. Right. We were... Okay. Now it starts to get serious. Okay. Now there was a very, very long voice message here. And I've tried to break it down as best I can. There was a lot of good questions all in that one there. So I hope I've managed to get onto all the points. But how I've quickly summarized it. Johan said how to determine fish size using side scan. Now I would have liked to have handled the side scan after the 2D sonar section, but I'm going as per the questions were sent to me by Louis Brits. So let's just follow that. Right, first of all, number 1, fish on side scan is all about shadows. Without shadows, it's a nightmare, and I'm going to show you. So A is shadows, determining size, species, everything. It's all about the shadow. Remember, side scan is different to 2D sonar and down scan. Down scan and 2D sonar is as if you've put some diving gear on, you've dived down into the water, and you're looking flat along the bottom at the boat or the fish sideways. Okay, you're looking at it like that. You're at their level, looking at the boat or the fish or whatever. Okay. Side scan, however, has flipped that 90 degrees, and now it's as if you've dropped your diving tanks, you've only got a snorkel, and it's as if you're snorkeling from the top looking down at what's below. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to wrap your mind around. So it's all about side scan. The second thing, and the most important and a very important thing, not the most important, but a very important thing, is determining species, size, etc., is the speed and the direction of the boat and fish is going to determine the quality of the sonar that you get. And you've got to practice this quite a bit, and it takes quite a bit of driving around to get the hang of it and getting to understand, now where is that fish exactly. I'm going to touch on it lightly just now, but that there, speed and direction, we could do an hour on that topic alone. It's a very important and interesting topic. C, side scan range is the next important thing. You can have a 10 kg carp on a range of 40 feet. It's going to look big compared to the same carp, but on a range of 120 feet, it will then look like a 3.3 kg a carp, because you're now a third. You've expanded your range 3 times, so your carp now is going to look a third of the size. So be careful about range, guys. Be very, very careful. And then, of course, the other thing is display size. If on a small thing, on a small display, it's tough to see, especially side scan. The down scan 2D sonar on a 5-inch screen, no problem. But the minute you go side scan, 5 inches isn't enough. 7 inches minimum, 9 inch ideal. I'll show you what I mean there. Let's talk. Okay, I don't know why I popped this in here, but anyway, it's in here now, and this is just to make sure you guys know what the side scan beam is. This is looking at a little carp boat from the back. You've got left and a right. It's this beam that goes all the way out to the side, and obviously the shallower you get, it looks all the way up, right up to the water surface to left and right. Now I'm going to flick on this next picture very, very quickly, and I'm going to come back, and you guys try and guess what this is. But what I've done is I've taken a picture and I've removed the shadow of this thing. I've removed the shadow, and I want you at a glimpse to tell me what it is. Okay, who could tell me what that was? Could anybody see what that was? Okay, I'm going to do it for the same amount of time, but I'm going to now show you the image without the shadow removed. Did you see that? Shadow removed with the shadow. Now guys, camel, there we go. Shaul McGregor says it's camel, correct. How difficult is it if you got it at just a glimpse, sun on your screen? You got to do some thinking to work out what that is. Remember, we're looking on a big screen here, whatever. Yeah, okay, but if you go there, you can clearly see what it is. Now, side scan sonar works exactly the same way. Right. Here's a graphical representation from one of my books, Fisherman's Guide to Sonar 2. This is a typical side scan image showing shadows, the range to the left and the right, and then this dark section in the middle that is called the water column. It's very important to understand what this is. Also in my book, Fisherman's Guide to Sonar, there's videos, there's images. Guys, I'm not a big reading guy, and I don't want to write long stories. My whole book is like this image that you see behind me here. It's pictures, and there's videos that you can clip on that go to YouTube. It's a digital book, you download it. My first book, Fisherman's Guide to Sonar 1, the first one, I do have, as I've one hard copy left. They reprinted so many times that book. I lost count how many copies we actually sold of that book. It was a fantastic seller. It really, truly was. But anyway, in the new one, it went all digital and it went fancy, and yeah. So this explains sort of what that water column is, and it's very important to understand the water column. This is another image that I created a few years ago, where you can see on the left here, this picture here, that's how it would look on the screen. If you fold the middle up, if you printed it out on a piece of paper and you folded that center up, that is your water column. You see where it goes up to the transducer on the back of the boat? Now just remember this, for everything we're doing now next, just keep this in mind, this picture that you see here. Okay. Right, this is a screenshot. This is not my screenshot. I got permission from the owner. It's an Australian chap, and he put this screenshot up years ago, and I really liked it, and I used it in my book, and that's why I'm using it now, because I have permission to use it. But if you look at the screenshot, now that you know where the water column is, you know what's to left and right. My question here is, how many fish can you see here, and how big would you say those fish are? So I've got two questions for you. How many fish do you see, and approximately how big do you think those fish are? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think about that. Zane Habib, hello Zane, how are you doing? He's here, Alistair's here, Mark Williams is here. Yeah, I know the guys are right. Okay, Rian Duplessis, no, it's not a rock. Okay. Guys, here we go. Brace yourselves. How many fish did you get? Can you see the difference? Can you see that now? Take the shadows away. I removed the shadows with Photoshop. And there's the original screenshot with the shadows. those two main fish out to the right hand side, keep in mind, this is only a range of 35 feet. It's a very, very small range, okay? And look at those two fish out there. How big would you say those fish are? Here's a picture of the guy who took the photograph of the screenshot, and he caught one of those fish. That's a big old barramundi. So you know, I see guys scanning with 120, 160, 180, 200 feet on their side scan. I tell you what, you're going to need something really, really big to come past to actually see that. So let me just roll back again. This big barramundi that you see here, which has got an awesome swim bladder, scales, massive skeleton. That's what you get, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a nice big fish there. Okay. Right. Speed and direction. Okay, I know this isn't side scan. I'm using 2D sonar, which is your traditional archers, and then I'm using the high frequency down scan on the left, on the blue, your blue section, and then your multicolored 2D sonar. Of these two screenshots that you see behind me here, which one would you say is a small fish and which one would you say is a big fish? Guys, it's a little water test that I do, and I would really like every single person that ever gets a fish finder to go and make yourself one of these little test rigs. It's actually the same fish. It's the same, but look at the difference at the speed. You'll see the one directly above me there is 7.2 kilometers per hour, and the one to my far left there is 0.1, which means I was basically stationary. What I did was I took a little ping pong ball and I put a weight on it about 5-6 foot off the bottom with a marker buoy on the top. You can put a marker buoy or you can put a bottle or whatever up on the top there, and I went over it and I wanted to see how does this differentiate, because what this ball actually represents as far as carp goes on 2D sonar. Remember, I'm not talking about downscan, because downscan is going to give you a more lifelike representation. But on 2D sonar, which is this multicolored panel that you see here, and to my far left over there, that ball is equivalent to a 0.5 kg carp. Okay? That's equivalent to a 0.5 kg carp. So, all roundabout. I'm not going to be too precise, but you can call that about a 500 gram carp. Okay, and can you see the difference between speed, how that looks? So guys, please make yourself one of these. Excuse me, I just need a sip of coffee. Okay, so there's a big difference in speed there, 7 kilometers per hour. Okay, and you can see what sonar does. It just bunches everything up and it makes it small. When you slow, it drags everything out. Or in the case where a fish is following you, where you're doing, let's say, 3 k's an hour, and a fish is following you as well in 3 k's an hour, this fish will look like it's a snake, this massive long eel, you know. So just watch out for that type of thing. So speed is very important. This screenshot here I spoke about earlier, again, I was pretty much stationary, trolling motor off, just drifting with a light little breeze, targeting bass, and these carp swam through my beam. Now, if I was on the motor or trolling motor and I was going quick, these would be very squashed up. You can see there's one fish here in the dead middle of the screenshot. Can you see how that carp is like sort of bunched up? He's more like a ball than pulled apart. He was obviously accelerating and going faster. He swam quickly through my beam, and therefore he looked sort of concertinaed. Okay, whereas the other two, especially that one particular one there to my left, that guy just came through really nice and slow, and that's why it looks so good. Here's another screenshot I asked the owner if I can use. It's also an Australian chap. This is showing your side scan on the half side of the screen and your down scan on the other side. This is a shoal of GTs, Grand Trevellis, swimming past. And they are juvenile Grand Trevellis, but Grand Trevellis nonetheless. And I just thought it was just an incredible screenshot to show you the difference between down scan and side scan. Next, I said I was talking about range. How important is range? I'm going back to that screenshot of that hey, bloody mozzie. I'm using that same screenshot of that Australian chap with the barramundi. Let's say you're using the range he was using, 35 feet. That's the clarity that you can see. Now, if you double that range to 70 feet, can you see how much smaller those fish got all of a sudden? Take it to 140 feet. Take it to 280 feet. Very, very difficult. Watch out for range. Keep your range to an absolute minimum. And then, of course, you've got display size. And imagine the same situation where you've got range, we're using too much range. Obviously, on a bigger unit like this big HDS 16 Live here, you can go 140 feet, no problem, and you'll still get quite a bit of clarity, and of course this unit has got unbelievable resolution, so you can just keep zooming in and it just stays sharp. Whereas on a smaller unit like the TI, on the 5-inch units, you're going to be really restricted on range. That's why I really 7 at a push, but a 9-inch display is just heaven. That's where you're getting the best of all worlds. So yeah, have a look at that, guys. Just keep that in mind, your range and your display size. You can't expect the unit to do something that it just can't do. Right, question number 8, how to determine fish size on 2D sonar. Okay, we sort of touched on it a little bit just now, but basically it's fish location in relation to the cone. How did the fish come through the cone, or how did the boat pass over that fish? Again, it's the speed of the fish or the boat as the target passes through the cone. The frequency plays a big part. What frequency are you using? Are you using 200? Are you using 83? Is the fish sitting tight on the bottom where you need a narrow cone so he doesn't get mushed into the bottom? Or is he slightly suspended just off the bottom? You want maximum coverage from 20 degrees all the way out to 60 degrees. Then you go 83 kilohertz. Nobody's going to tell you that in the manual. Nobody. But the guys that have been on the water with me and we've done this exercise will tell you 83 kilohertz for suspended fish is the best possible, and I'm going to show you why. Next thing is sensitivity. How have you set the unit up? I know a lot of guys like to turn the surface clarity right off. They like to make their background screen crystal clear. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm going to show you why. Okay, so the basic sonar. If you're looking at a typical carp, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 kgs, whatever, comes through underneath the boat, or you go over it, you've got your side scan, and let's just say he's dead center. Okay. Geez, did I search the internet to try and find a picture from the back, from the side and the top of a carp, a rubber dinghy? Impossible. So I had to draw it. So I hope you guys don't laugh at my drawings. But anyway, let's say you're using a TI2 hook reveal triple shot, whatever. It's got side scan, it's got high frequency down scan, it's got 2D sonar, it's got chirp, it's got all these things. Watch out for this word chirp. It's used on every spec sheet under the sun. I tell you what, a proper chirp transducer starts at 8,000 Rand. Just the transducer. That's for an entry level, the smallest chirp transducer you can get. Proper dinkum chirp. I mean genuine chirp transducer. Otherwise the rest is chirp. Have a look at this carp. It came directly underneath the boat. It's suspended. It came dead center through the middle of the cone. Looking at the back of the boat, you can see it was running straight at us, opposite direction to the boat. Came straight through the middle of the screen, of the cone. My apologies. Louis says, great dinghy. Thanks, Louis. Yes, I spent many hours, Bill, drawing that bloody thing. Yeah, I was up at 2 o'clock this morning drawing that bloody thing. Guys, in my book, one of the videos when I talk about Sonar basics, I talk about the arch. And I cannot tell you how important it is to learn to read and understand fish arches. You get so much information out of an arch. To replace that with an icon or a symbol or a beep or whatnot, it's just criminal, absolutely criminal. Try and learn arches. Neil says, awesome drawings, John. Thanks, Neil. Much appreciated. Anyway, okay, if you look at the slide here now, if that fish comes directly, that bowl thing that you see at the bottom, that's the cone. Okay, I just haven't drawn in the top part of the cone. That's the bottom part of the cone. The green is the strongest part of the sound wave. I actually had such a nice diagram and I deleted it earlier. I don't know why I did that, and I can show you how the sound wave works. I thought it was just going to run into too much time. Geez, and look at the time already. Jeez, guys. Okay, so if the fish comes dead center down the middle of the cone, you're going to have in your arch, you're going to have, you see right on the top above me here, you see how it's green at the top? If your palette that you're using is this palette like what I'm using, you'll see on my screenshots or my demos that I'm doing here now, I really love this palette. It's palette number 13. And you see green in your arch, you can drop your line straight down like a pendulum and you're going to hit him on his head. He is exactly there. He's straight underneath the boat. If I don't see green, I'm not convinced that he's directly underneath the boat. He could be slightly off to the left or the right or whatever. So let's say we're using 200 kilohertz. Okay, keep in mind, if we go back to this image here, that's all the beams. There's the purple is your down scan, which is that narrow beam. The 200 kilohertz is the 20-degree cone. The 83 kilohertz is the 60-degree cone. You've got the big luminous green, which is your left and right, depending on the range that you set it out to. But keep in mind, it's a very tight beam as well, like your down scan that you see in purple on the side and the top view. So be careful of that. It's a beam, not a cone. So if we're only using 200 kilohertz, and that beautiful carp swims underneath your boat, that is what it's going to look like. If we zoom in on that screen, can you see it's got a little dash of green on the top of that arch there? There we go. You see the guys are making nice compliments. Now I'm getting all shy and bashful now. Thanks for the compliments, guys. I really appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you, Gilbert. Thank you. So there's a very, very powerful, strong 200 kilohertz echo from that fish that we saw there. Now, here's a scenario. Excuse me. The speed is the same of the boat. The speed of the fish is the same. Everything is exactly the same. But look at the image on your top right of your screen over there, and then down here. Can you see the fish is slightly off? It's just on the edge of the cone. It's still directly underneath the boat, but it's just outside of that cone. That 200 is such a tight cone. It's such a small cone. You get this sort of mottled, broken up, bluey thing. And you go, hey, that must be a small fish. But guys, it's not a small fish. It's the same fish. It's that same, what did we call it? 5, 6, 7 kg, whatever. It's the same fish. But he's on the edge of the cone. And now he looks like nothing. And this is why you need your side scan and your down scan. Because if that fish is slightly off, you'll see it in the side scan that he's slightly off to the side. And you'll go, that's not a small fish. My 2D is lying to me. I can see it on my down scan. I can see it on my right-hand side scan. That's a good fish. I need to fish that. So if you're not using those other frequencies like the down scan and the side scan, watch out. Watch out. You can go straight past a very, very good fish. and just because it looks like that and you think that it's absolutely nothing. Right, now we're looking, guys, sorry, this time is really going fast. Let me just see. Shane Redmond. Hey, hello, Shane. How are you doing? He says, will this be on YouTube as well? Shane, 100%. I'm busy recording. Corne Skuman, she knows me too well. It's one of her first questions that she asked me when she started watching. She said, John, are you recording in HD? Because, yeah, I forget to do that. But I can see it's busy recording, so this whole video will be on YouTube in full HD. Unfortunately, on Facebook, it only streams at 720, so it's a little bit blurry and whatnot. But yeah, on YouTube, it'll be in full HD, and you guys then can take screenshots and take notes and all sorts of things there. So anyway, so here we're now using the 83 kilohertz sonar, and as you can see, that fish is coming dead center as it did with the 200 initially. And look at this massive, big, strong, look, it's a graphical representation, yes, but the guys that have done it on the water, the guys like Leslie, Peter Niemann, these guys, they've done it. They know what this looks like. Hey, there's old Mark. Hello, Mark. I don't know if you're overseas. Are you on the oil platform? Are you drilling for oil? Are you back home? I'm not too sure. Geez, I hope you're with your family, man. How's it, Mark? Good to have you join us. So yeah, nice big strong sonar. Now we've got a situation where that fish is now slightly off center. It's still a suspended fish. It's slightly off center. The boat's doing the same speed. The fish is the same direction. Everything is the same, but it's a little bit more. It's even further out than what it was for the 200 kilohertz. But it's still a great return. But can you see what has happened? Mark says he's stuck. Oh, geez. Yeah, geez, that's a money problem, but at least it's not a family problem. So enjoy your time with your family, Mark. Anyway, Mark travels a lot. He works in on an oil rig in Southeast Asia. Tough life. But anyway, guys, as you can see, it's still, that fish is way off. You probably wouldn't have even seen it at all on the 200 kilohertz. But look what a nice arch you're still getting here. It's slightly smaller, and what is missing? The green out of the top of the arch is missing. So, but it's still a good indication. Next is sensitivity and water quality. This is another page out of my book. I was actually talking about something else. I was doing a comparison between various transducers, Lorentz transducers and AMR transducers that were available. And the reason why I've got it here for you guys to see is to see how you should set your screen up. Do not make it a pure white background. Your screen must actually look like light rain. There's one or two here. You can see I've got a little bit heavy. The one with the HST WSBL, the one right here behind me here, you can see that thermocline there very, very nicely. You see that? There, because I've got it really hot. I've really got that sensitivity up quite high. You don't necessarily have to make it that high, but don't make it white like my demo screenshots that I'm showing you. Don't do that. You want to see the colors on the top, which is your surface clutter. Do not turn surface clutter off ever, because it's very important. That gives you like a palette range. And why it does that is when the sound wave releases the piezoelectric element, which is like a ceramic element inside your transducer, it goes through the epoxy, and as it hits that transition from epoxy to water, it's a big bang because it's such a big transition, and that's why you get the surface clutter. But don't try and turn it off. Don't turn it off because you need it. Unless you're in 2 feet of water, then you won't see anything. Then you have to turn it off. So just keep that in mind. So, and water quality. You know, Albert Falls Dam, when I put this little ping pong ball down for a water test on Albert Falls Dam, I can barely see it. I can barely see it because that water quality, I don't know what's up there. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't smell. It's not like the Vaal River or anything like that. But it's, from a sonar perspective, it's just not good at all. Question number 9. Let's just see. Hello, Malik. How are you doing? Tyrone says, John, has the satellites issue with GPS been sorted, or do you still recommend using marker floats, marker spot? Tyrone, GPS is, we live in strange times. We live in strange times. GPS, one day is great, next, no, it can change by the minute. It's all over the place. It's very difficult for me to say. And what is the alternative? I mean, we just don't have an alternative. Look, the nice thing, if you're using something like the Elite TI2 or Elite TI or an HDS or something like that, you can use the 0.1, which is a GPS receiver. It's a dual channel GPS receiver. What's so nice about it, but it's also a heading sensor. It's got a compass built into it. But the important part is here, on this topic, it uses GPS and GLONASS, which is the Russian satellites. So if the American satellites are having a dip, it will prioritize GLONASS, which is the Russian satellites. So you've got 24 American satellites, 24 Russian satellites, average, sometimes more, mostly less, a little bit less, but at least you got a better chance. So the 0.1 is another very, very great accessory to add to your Elite and HDS units. Question 9, how to determine fish size using fish symbols? For me, it's an absolute no-go. I've had guys tell me about wonderful success they've had using fish 1 size, 2 size, 3 size, 1 beep, 2 beep, and all of this. And I tell you what, I'm not going to argue with them for a minute. They've put a lot of time into understanding that, and it's not my place to tell somebody that that doesn't work, because they have made it work for themselves. But guys, mark my words, learn to read arches. Learn to read arches. Watch your high frequency beams. See how strong that return is. Is it to the left slightly? Is it to the right slightly? There's just so much more information that you can get from a typical active imaging 3-in-1 or triple shot transducer. So please, I'm not a favor. I'm not a big fan of that at all. Question number 10. What characteristics of a fish will offer a good sonar return? Okay, like I said to you guys, we're going to be jumping all over the place. Let me just see, what did I miss here? Gilbert has got an answer there. The structure you want to fish to. Guys, please, when you, for the guys that are watching this on YouTube tomorrow, you can go back to my Fish Tech Lawrence page and you can read some of the answers. Things that these guys, Neil Pretorius, Gilbert, Tyrone, Peter Niemann, these guys, they are very, very good. So please take their advice. You would be in around about 57 minutes into the video around about now to get that question. Okay, right. What characteristics of fish offer a good return? What does Neil say there? Would strongly recommend looking into John's HD charts, bought the content, amazing, study charts from home with the water, knowing what I want and area to target. Yeah, Neil's talking about the Fish Tech HD charts. Guys, these Fish Tech HD charts that are available for South Africa really, really are good. They are not computer generated. They weren't taken from an old sketch drawing and then digitally converted and no. This was done with a proper survey and sonar, a proper bathymetry survey, scanned out our local dams. We've only got 20 dams scanned in South Africa at the moment, but they are done properly and they are prime dams, and we are going to be adding to that list very quickly now that I've developed this autonomous craft Amy. So this is going to happen quickly now. We're going to get a lot of our dams done. Okay, back to the characteristics of the fish with regard to sonar. A, the flesh of the fish has the same density as water. Yeah, guys, no matter how big a fish is or how big it is from a flesh perspective, that flesh has zero echo off it. Zero, nothing. You get no echo off it. You only get echo off the swim bladder. That's your primary. You get off the skeleton, and then you get off the scales. And the swim bladder is the strongest. The skeleton is the second strongest, and the scales is the least, but it's something. It adds to it somewhat. There we go. That's what I was just talking about now. The swim bladder, you can see in green, very strong. Skeleton, not so much. The scales, but weak. This is also from my book. Yes, about this same thing. Are some fish better to detect with sonar than others? I'm sure most of you have watched the show Wicked Tuna. And guys, definitely, you would have seen those massive tuna. And this is so typical, okay? This is so typical of that show, what you'll see on those fish finders. And you'll always see the editors in Wicked Tuna. When a fish comes up on the sonar like this, they put the audio clip in. Did it. Okay. Yeah, that's drama, okay? But it's to show that a fish has come into the sonar. And this is a very typical arch that you will see from a tuna. But how big is this tuna? He's quite deep. I mean, he's what, 80, 90 feet down. You're 30 meters down, just short of 30 meters down. That's the size of that tuna. Because a tuna has got no swim bladder. There's no real scales. He's just got this leathery skin, and he's just muscle. You see the little rock cod on the far right hand side of your screen, way over there? That rock cod, if that rock cod came up and went through that sonar beam, it would be as strong. And what's that? 8 kilos compared to 200 kilos, 250 kilos plus, 300 kilos, because of the fish's composition and how it reads on sonar. Tuna are very difficult to pick up on sonar, especially if it's not set up properly. Are some fish better? Yes, we're still on question number 11 with regard to species. Yeah, your tilapia, your bream, that type of fish. Always nice to see, especially on the down scan. You see these nice big discs because they've just got that height to them. The swim blade is pretty good. It's not brilliant like a carp's, but it is pretty good. Your bass is one of the harder ones to actually pick up. Not very easy to pick up on sonar because the skeleton is actually quite a light skeleton. And then their swim bladder is of a medium size. And then, of course, the carp at the bottom, great fish to pick up. Awesome. It's got a fantastic echo profile on it. It's just it's a good fish for sonar. So you guys are really scoring there. Right, then this question came up on the Specimen Politics discussion group, where the guys were talking about, I wonder if I can put this up. No, it's on the wrong side. Oh, geez, I was meant to put that on the right hand side earlier. Geez, I apologize, Louis. I was meant to put a logo up on one of the corners, and I just remembered now. And I've got a logo here, but it's going to be right in front of, hello, I'm like, what's that? That looks, Kilroy. Sorry, man. I'll do a better job next time with regard to the logo. Apologies, Louis. Yeah, the short answer to a barbel, does it have a swim bladder? I didn't think it did. And then I saw, I think it was Johan mentioned, yes, it does. And he put this picture up here, and I went and did some research, and it's very interesting. Yes. And by species, it changes slightly, but the barbel specifically has these two little air pockets, bladders, but very small behind the ears. Now, the funny thing is, it's not used for buoyancy. It's used for listening to the prey in very dirty, muddy water, because the sound wave apparently resonates in that pocket, and he can hear where his prey is. The other thing is, okay, this isn't a Wikipedia, this was a comment on a forum, where the guy said sometimes they're in such dirty water, it's impossible for them to know what's up, and are they upside down, or they, whereas on the side of their heads, that's how they calculate where's top, where's bottom, and are they level. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't hold me to it. But I thought that's quite interesting if that is true. Guys, we've been going for an hour already. Wow. Yeah, that's what I was just saying about the barbel there now. It does have a swim bladder. The head itself, it's got quite a good skeletal sort of head, so that is going to give you sonar. But when I've been mapping dams, especially when I was on rudder copies and dams like that, and I did come into those barbel, especially the slightly bigger barbel, they look like eels with a faint shadow, but I get these like eel streaks on my screen, and that's the barbel. And I only knew that because I saw they were on the surface, and then when I came past mapping, they obviously dived down. Question number 14. What is the 2D versus side scan coverage in shallow water? Well, this image here pretty much tells you. If you're in very shallow water, 2D is looking at just about a third. If you're in 3 feet of water, you are looking at a diameter of 1 feet on 200 kilohertz. If you're using 83 kilohertz at 60 degrees, if you're in 3 feet of water, you're looking at 3 feet diameter. And then you've got the whole issue with surface clutter. So when you're in shallow water like that, you want to use side scan and make big sweeping turns. If it's on your trolling motor, I don't like swiveling it too much, but with the 3-in-1 transducer, you can get away with it. You can swivel it around, and you can use it like a sort of a 360 scanning around you. Excuse me, but that takes a bit of practice. Question number 15. What is the best way to set my Garmin 451? Guys, with any unit, I always say to anybody that phones me and says, listen, please help me set it up, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is restore default. Very often we've just done too much fiddling on our side. You know, you bought it, you're playing with it, whatnot, and then you get it to a place where you can't remember what was default. Just do a restore default and take it from there. The next thing that you want to do, get a little ping pong ball, put it in the water, 6 feet off the bottom, 30 feet of water, and go over it nice and slowly and see what type of quality you're getting out of that sonar, and which way is the arch going, so you can get the angle of your transducer right. If it's too far the one way, you'll get a long streak of your arch the one way. If it's level, it'll be a nice even arch. If it's toe heavy, it'll go the other way. So those are type of things. A little ping pong ball, I tell you what, is the best device to set up any electronics, whether you paid 100,000 Rand or you paid 5,000 Rand for it. Right, question number 16. How do I determine hard and soft bottom on a fish finder? Now guys, in any old, what do you call it, manual, user manual, operator's manual, whatnot, you'll find this section here, and they're going to talk about it. They say it's very simple. If it's a thin bottom, it's a soft bottom. If it's a thick bottom at the bottom of your screen, it's a hard bottom. In theory, the echo amplitude does support this. The problem is all our fish finders at the moment use auto heavily. They are compensating for depth, water clarity, things passing through it. So your bottom is going thin, thick, but it's all the same. You could be going over clay, and depending on going deeper or shallower, or a fish coming through, or a big thermocline or something, it'll change, and you'll think, oh no, geez, I've now moved to softer bottom. No, bottom hardness is a very tricky thing. And I'll tell you what, for me personally, if I'm targeting an area and I need a very specific bottom, number one, I'm going to use a side scan mosaic, obviously. But if you don't have a side scan mosaic, take a lead on a nice stiff rod with a braid, drop it on the bottom and feel it. The minute you find, yeah, no, this is a hard bottom, turn auto sensitivity off. Take note of the depth that you're in and stick to that depth. And that will be very accurate. If you see the bottom going thin, yes, then you in fact have moved into a softer bottom. If it gets even thicker, you've now moved possibly from clay to like a rocky, pebbly type of bottom. So it's very tricky, and that again can be a show all on its own. We can talk about that for half an hour to an hour. So yeah, watch out. Bottom hardness is not as simple as they make it out to be. Side scan, easy. Okay, here's an extreme case. A whole lot of rocks around a softish, sandy sort of bottom. very, very easy to determine what's hard and what's soft. You don't need to be a rocket scientist there. Okay, this is off one of my Fish Tech HD fishing charts. This is one I did recently, Arabi. This dam, a lot of it is predominantly sand. It's sort of like a beach sand and a lot of rock. There's rock and beach sand. But if you look at this shot, you see right here, I'm pointing on it now, there's obviously a little creaky type thing, you know, like a wash away from the rains or whatever. And obviously some silt had gone down and is now sitting in those washaways. And that's going to be a silty, softish bottom, so watch out for that. Then of course way I get cut off, but you'll see way over there at the bottom there's another big soft area, obviously an area which has sort of been washed away and the silt is now sitting in there. And very often, you know, while I'm busy scanning, you can see there's multiple passes here on the chart. I'll see how close the fish sit to the edge of that transition, you know, where it's gone from the sand to the silt. They're sitting on that edge very, very often, and lots of them. So it's very interesting. And then of course the rock, you know, that's also a no-brainer. Question number 17. When looking at a school of fish being picked up on the finder, what should we look for when observing the school to determine whether this is a promising place to drop lines or is it just passing school? This comes down to experience. If it's a new dam completely, you're going to have to take your knowledge of the species, in this case the carp, and sort of, you know, talk. If you're also new to carp fishing, talk to the guys. There's a lot of guys that are prepared to share some wonderful information with you. Talk to them. They'll say, listen, look for this type of thing. Look for this type of bottom, this type of feature scenario. The fish will come there. Yes, they'll move off, but then they'll come back. I mustn't give too much information because then I can start talking nonsense. But you know, if you come past on your sonar and you see something like this, these are fish that you want to target. And if you keep scanning over this every now and again and you see these fish are coming back to the spot, you found a good spot. And that's obviously, that's where you want to drop your lines. Okay. Question number 18. This is our last slide, guys. We're just over an hour. Most fish finders give a double beep and show a larger fish icon. How does the finder determine? Okay, we're on this whole double beep fish icon story. I don't believe in it. I don't like people using it. However, there's guys that use it very effectively. I don't. I've learned how to read sonar, the actual arches and the high frequency and that type of thing. So if you can, if you've started using this and using icons and that, try and wean yourself off it as fast as possible and try and learn as much as you can from the actual arches. Let's just see, what have we got here? Peter Neiman says, and the awesome thing is the TI2 can do that live while you are scanning for a spot. Yeah, Peter, what Peter says there is quite true. You know, you can scan that live. It's the TI, the TI2, the HDS live. These units have also got structure map. That's another thing we can talk about at another stage. Excuse me, where you record and it's an overlay on top of your chart. So you've got your contours and then you've got the side scan overlay of all the little ditches, the rocks, the trees, the snags, the weed lines, all of that. It really is fantastic. Gilbert Foxtrot says, guys, that soft area is the ideal targets for carp, as this is where you will find bloodworm, snails, etc. There we go. You see, this is why I love having guys on the live feed like this. So guys, please, those who are watching the YouTube video tomorrow or whatever, please go to my Facebook page. It's just search Fish Tech Lawrence. Look for this latest video here and just scroll down the comments, because the guys have been commenting live as I've been talking. So that's some really, really great information right there. So let me pop that over there. I'm going to merge that into there. And oh, Louis, ek is baie jammer. I was meant to make that logo permanent on the screen. Guys, yeah, look, I would just like to thank the admin guys at Specimen for giving me this opportunity. Sorry, I just see something just popped up there. Aubrey Gunter says, if you have a normal dinghy, would you mount your sonar in the middle or the side with the motor to give a lot of interference? Aubrey, you know, on these small carboats, I like this retractable type system that the guys put it on, because then you can put it right down and even get below the motor. You know, okay, you got to be careful if you're in very shallow water, but you make it long enough that you can get below the water. But if you ever got any doubts, speak to guys like Peter, Leslie, speak to Gilbert, find out from these guys how have they mounted theirs. And I want to do a show with hopefully Peter or one of these guys, or Neil, or Neil Pretorius, or Peter Niemann, or Leslie, or somebody, and just show you how guys have actually done their installations, which I think will be great. So Aubrey, yeah, those retractable adjustment brackets on the transom, I think, is a very good idea. Peter says, Peter says, watch my monthly Fish Tech Live. Thanks, Peter. Peter's always a great ambassador. Peter's one of our brand ambassadors and pro staff. And yeah, he does some really great stuff locally here in KZN for the Specimen guys. But unfortunately, it's been a little bit quiet for obvious crazy reasons. But guys, yeah, like I was saying to the Specimen Politics guys, thank you very much. I know this is a little bit strange for you, the way I've done this rather as a video, but I'm going to give this a link to the YouTube video to Louis. Louis will put it on the group, and you guys can just scroll through it when you've got a little bit of time. It's quite long now. It's an hour 15 minutes, this video, but there's a lot of information. A lot of questions have been answered, and yeah, hopefully you guys learned something. And yeah, by all means, let's do it again sometime. I am quite busy lately. I'm half sort of back at work, so it's a little bit crazy right now. But if you've got questions on that, please forward them on to Louis or any one of the admin guys at Specimen Politics, and put those questions together, and let's deal with them one at a time, or a couple at a time. Not like now, we covered just so much, and it was going all over the place, but it was a good way to get started. So yeah, I really let's just see here. Louis Britt says, thank you very much, John. No, thank you. No, it's only a pleasure, Louis. Thank you very much for inviting me. Aubrey Gunter says, one more question. Go for it, Aubrey. Go for it. Thanks, Neil. It's only a pleasure. Jacques van Skalkwyk says, thanks, John. This was extremely helpful. Much appreciated. And when down in KZN, I come say, Jacques, of course. Of course. Set it up with the local COP guys. Come put some lines in there at Inanda Dam. And yeah, let's have a little fire. Maybe put a steak on there, or a burri or something, and have a chat. That'll really be lekker. Pleasure, Corneille. Aubrey's busy typing. No, only a pleasure, Gilbert. Thank you very much for getting hold of Louis and recommending that we do this. This has really been fun. I don't know if it's been as much fun for you guys, but I've really enjoyed this. It feels like I've had a whole bunch of oaks and we've been chatting, although I'm the only one talking. The oaks would hit me with a stick by now. Let's see. Only a pleasure, Tony. Yeah, look, Sonar is Sonar, eh? Sonar is Sonar. It's just different species, different depths. It's the same basic principle, you know. Hey, pleasure, Mark. Thanks. Okay, there's Aubrey's question now. Aubrey Gunter says, I saw a guy where he had his boat on his trailer and he played around with his sonar while putting things underneath and away from the sonar. So your boat don't need to be in the water. Can we do that? No, Aubrey. In many cases, it will sort of ping that there's a hard bottom below it and it'll give you a fictitious depth, but I don't recommend it. Well, it's not really going to work. But you're not going to do any damage to the unit. So if you want it to be pinging away and you want to play around with the unit, it's no problem. However, if you're using a proper chirp transducer like a TM150, a TM165, 185, 275, that thing must be in water. You will waste a lot of money. That thing gets hot. So please be careful. Right, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you once again to the Specimen Politics guys. I look forward to getting ideas from you guys later, how we can do this better. It's our first one doing it like this with a group. I know it's been a bit strange for the guys on the group thinking, where's this? Where's all this happening? But yeah, we'll sort it out and we'll fine tune it and whatnot. So everybody, thank you everybody. Look after yourselves during these absolutely crazy times, and let's hope that somebody gets some oxygen up here and they let us onto the water as soon as possible, because I think you guys agree we need to get out there, make some money, get that money into the family, and then hit the dam. And that's what we're going to do. Guys, look after yourselves. Cheers everybody. I'm signing up.